In the 1810s, many colonists started moving to the western part of the United States. Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Purchase, causing more people to move to the west. This meant that he bought a big part of the western area of the United States. Two travelers named Lewis and Clark had explored this area of the west. Once Lewis and Clark came back, they told all the people of the amazing things they saw. Since all of the colonists had heard of these wondrous journeys, they decided they were going to travel to the west. The trail that was used to go to the west from the east gave miners opportunities for gold. They also wanted to explore these parts of the states to find more occupations. The trail that was used to travel to this part of the United States was called the Oregon Trail.
It would take many people up to a year to plan the long 5 to 6 month trip on the Oregon Trail. The villagers would have to sell all things they couldn't take with them, including their house. They would have to buy hundreds of pounds of supplies to take with them on this rough journey to the west. They would have to leave during early April or May to reach there before the cold winter. On the Oregon Trail, many people would struggle and suffer passing through the desert. The first part of the Oregon Trail ran through mostly flat parts of the country. There were very few obstacles, but traveling across the river was dangerous, and Native American attacks had a small chance of happening, but had a really bad effect. As they traveled onward, they realized there were much more risks, like drowning, the discharge of firearms, etc. In the mountains, there was also the risk of overturned/runaway wagons. It would also be very hard to find food, and many would die on the journey. They could also get some diseases, including dysentery, chlorea, smallpox, and the flu. These diseases could be very fatal. For example, chlorea is when someone has a fatal bacterial disease of the small intestine and has a chance of death. People also died because of accidents like exhaustion, inexperience, or carelessness. During the gold rush, men would abandon their families for the pursuit of gold. This was so bad that about 3/4 of the population left Sacramento for gold. Mining would be very dangerous and difficult. It would also take a lot of skill and a lot of luck to strike rich. As gold got more and more difficult to find, it took away most miners' independence and later ruined the landscape of the area.
Many transportation ways were used to explore the western region of America. The way they got to the western side was through the Oregon Trail. They used wagons as their transportation method. Many families in the wagons traveled in trains to protect themselves from any dangers that might lie ahead. The Oregon Trail went through Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, Washington, and Oregon. However, many people died because of the dehydration, lack of food, or the Native Americans. They had to pack a low amount of supplies because they didn't want the wagons to be so heavy that they were too hard to pull by the oxen. Many travelers also died due to many dangerous animals that were discovered on the trail. Many natural disasters also occurred while they were making their way to the west. They wanted an easier way to get from each side of the country, so they created the first transcontinental railroad. But before they could create the railroad, they had to build the Santa Fe Trail. The Santa Fe Trail connected Missouri to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and covered 900 miles of the Great Plain. The Santa Fe Trail was established in 1822 and was pioneered in 1821. When the trail was finished, the Transcontinental Railroad was created. The Transcontinental Railroad started in the 1950s, and the first Transcontinental Railroad finished on May 10, 1969. Two groups of people started on each side of the country to conjoin together in the western middle part of the country. However, building the Transcontinental Railroad was also very risky for the workers. The workers were always a danger to the Native Americans that lived in the area. The workers were getting attacked frequently during the night. The Native Americans were breaking things during the night, so the workers had to go and repair them. When they did this, the workers fell right into the Native Americans' trap and got killed or scalped. The workers also had many risky jobs in the railroad. This discovery changed the world forever.
After the colonists finished migrating to the western parts of the United States, they had to figure out what they were going to do there to earn enough money to make a living.
The citizens finished migrating to the western part of the United States. They claimed land and they started farming. Farming tripled exponentially from 2 million to 6 million acres of land after moving to the western states in 1906. The effects of moving to the western parts of the United States came with many positives, but nevertheless, it came with some negatives. Some positives of moving to the westward part of the United States included great entertainment, good paying jobs, gold that wasn't very common in other states at the time, and an abundance of resources that could be easily traded. Moving here would be good because of the major improvement in the industrial side of the US. The western expansion also partially ended slavery in some of the new states. Some negatives of moving to the western parts of the United States included lots of people dying on their journey. Slavery was still in some of the states, and the westward expansion only helped in ending partial slavery. But this event shortly ended slavery after. Most people went to the western part of the United States to find land and get richer because there was a surplus of gold there. But the people that were moving there did not know that it would be very difficult for them to find the gold. Also, the Santa Fe Trail was built, and it became a main trading route across the country. The Santa Fe Trail was America's first commercial highway to get to one place from another.
Pioneers moved west for a variety of reasons. Some in search of riches, others simply to escape poverty. Some were fleeing the law, others were fleeing oppression. What they all shared was the ability to dream of something different, something better, and the West represented an opportunity for that dream to become a reality.
These were people that packed everything they had into the back of a wagon and went. And they went on faith in themselves, in their God, in their new country. And they just went out knowing that they could do this.
Well, I think they went west for so many different reasons. But certainly among them would be the belief that you were going to not only have this new life, which you were freer, but you were going to change yourself. You were going to be a new person in the new world.
In conclusion, people would spend a lot of money and time planning the trip for the Oregon Trail. The Oregon Trail killed many people, but those who survived started one of the most important parts of the United States. These people didn't realize the importance of them traveling to the western states. The colonists started a revolutionary part of America, even if it took many sacrifices, like losing family members. They also had to give up living where they had been living for so long. The western part of the United States holds many essential parts to run America. The Transcontinental Railroad stopped running in 1904 due to the track breaking down. It transported millions of people before breaking down. The gold rush gave thousands of people wealth and they were able to survive, but the gold rush made people greedy and they started to fight. Eventually, though, almost all of the gold was gone and the people stopped fighting. The westward expansion was one of the greatest frontiers in history and will never be forgotten.